Alright, as you can see, we've now finished the topography cuts, and you can kind of get an idea of what the carve is going to be like. And a couple things I forgot to mention. The outside, that half-inch ledge, that's my 0. So as you can see here, it goes maximum of 5/8, 4/8, 3/8, 2/8, 1/8. The 0 is actually outside of what will eventually be the guitar, because that's the line on the guitar. That gives you a 0 to carve to, because this is the corner where 1/8 meets 2/8 is the only part that will remain 1/8. So you have to carve into the 0 for the edge. The other thing I forgot to mention is always feed the wood against the rotation of the cutter. If you feed with it, it'll grab it, just like any sort of router. One thing that I like to do when I'm doing my carve, now that I have the topography done, is have a course of action when you're planning your carve. One of the things that I do is I'll come around with my plane and I will smooth all these edges. And I mean, it's just something that helps me visualize the carve better. And then I will actually do from the center down to where the neck will be to make that curve, and then the back, and then I will graduate out. And it's always just good to have a course of action when you start. Let's just talk a little bit about the planes that I'm using. I use 2 different size Ibex round bottom planes. As you can see, they're not a flat bottom. They can tilt like this. And this is sold as a cello maker's plane. And then I also have one of the violin maker's planes. They're both Ibexes. And let's see if we can't get a measurement on these. Let me grab my ruler. The cello plane is just at 3.5 inches long, and the little one is 1 3/4 inches long. And these are the 2 planes I use. I really haven't found a need for any other planes. So yeah, let me set up some stuff and we'll get to carving. That noise you hear in the background is, I'll turn it off. I've got a little foot switch down below that lets me change, well, sorry, not change it, turn it on and off. But this is actually a vacuum system that keeps things held. So all I have to do is I keep that plate held with something to keep it from popping up and something else to keep it sturdy with my little bench dogs here. And then you just put it down on it, turn it on, and it's not going anywhere. And it makes it so that I have both hands to do my carving. I'm just going to show you quick what I mean by rounding the edges. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because obviously it's boring to watch something that long. But we'll show you how I'm doing it, and then we'll come back when they're all rounded and we start actually getting some nice carving done. And you always want to go with the grain, so you want to go downhill. If I were to try and go uphill, it would just pull. Here's a good example about what I mean. As you can see, it's still steps, step, 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 and I've just started hitting this area. And see how I've just blended it all until these ridges start to disappear where the cuts were. Now I'm going to do that all around the entire instrument. I mean, up till now, I've been using the cello maker's plane exclusively. It's only when you get into these tight areas that the smaller plane will come into effect, and also it helps out a good deal when you're doing like the final carve, because it's not taking out huge chunks like this one, and you can do things like cross hatching to get rid of high spots, but we'll deal with that later. As you can see, at this point you're not really trying to be graceful or calculating or anything like that. Literally right now it's just about stock removal. And as you can see, it really is a good idea to become ambidextrous with a carving plane. I mean, I'm not perfect yet. Every now and then when I'm getting into a tough spot, I'll switch around so that I can use my left hand. But, I mean, it's really helpful to be able to just switch back and forth. And as you can see here, it's actually okay to go cross grain. That actually helps out a lot in some spots. And here I'm just kind of carving out that little plateau at the top. See, so now you're getting a little bit of an idea as to what this carve will look like. It's hard to show it here. But, yeah, see, nice little bell carve. And it's already looked like a carve, even though all we've done is hit these ridges. We haven't even started perfecting the carve, and it's already looking like a bell. If that's the case, then you know you did your topography right. See, I'm starting to get into some of these tighter areas where, because of the length of the plane, as you can see, you can't really see from there, as you can see when it's on a curve, it can't hit. So I'm switching to the smaller plane. Alright, now as you can see, there's no more topography lines left. We've just we've carved through and met them all. Now you can see how it's there's a definite carve to it. It's gradual, but it is most definitely there. It's 5/8 inch of carve. The next thing that we need to do is we need to perfect this carve. It's very, very rough right now. Lots of plane marks, especially from the cello plane. And we just want to make sure that it looks good. So now this is the part where you got to start thinking and using techniques. One of the first things that I noticed is the center section. I should have extended that a little further. When you rub your hand across it, it goes down, flat, down. And although I want this to go down, I want this to be a continuous arch. As you can see, well, you might not be able to see, but there's a gap right here, so that the high part's over here. So I need to carve this so it's a continuous curve. I'm going to take down a little from the center. Use your hands a lot. Your hands will tell you a lot of things that your eyes can't see. Like, I don't have to put that ruler there to feel. I mean, to see that there's a high spot. I can just feel it.